Hari Om Monica.
You.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we are on chapter 2. We finished verse 19 last time. We did 18 and 19. Any questions on the whatever we did? Or shall we move forward if nobody has question? Okay. So we can start with verse 20. And Monica, can, if anybody else wants to try, can. If not, then Monica can do it.
But I need the meter for this one.
It goes like this. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nityam shashvatoyam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वानुभूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
So when you say, sorry, Purana, so it becomes Purana instead of Purano. Little bit I know, I don't know too much, but that much I have learned. Okay. Purana, it is Purano because but Sandhi Vichhed karna hota hai. When you sing it, you have to break it, so it becomes Purana and na Hanyate Hanyamani. But still, it was good. Okay, you want to do the Sanskrit?
Yes, I can do that. Na not jayate is born, mriyate dies, va or kadachit at any time, na not I am this self, bhutva having been, bhavita will be, va or na not bhuya anymore, ajaha unborn, nitya eternal, shashvata changeless. I am this purana ancient, no not hanyate is killed, hanyamane being killed, sharire in body. He is not born, nor does he ever die. After having been, he again ceases not to be unborn, eternal, changeless, and ancient. He is not killed when the body is killed. So I think in this verse we're talking about the Atma, which can never be. No.
क्या हुआ?
It cannot be born, but Atma to born hoti hai.
No, I mean, it depends on what angle you are looking at. If we are talking about that consciousness,
Yeah.
remember at a very highest level, nothing happens to it. But what is born is the Jivatma. So Jivatma, but the Jivatma is powered by the consciousness. Without consciousness, we cannot be. So that part of us, which is the consciousness, never born, never dies. It's just the body, and the subtle body goes to another body. Remember we talked about the 3 different layers. One is this physical body, then we have the subtle body. Like now all the people are in IT, like Devyani and also. It's hardware and software. Okay. So the hardware, even if hardware ko kuch gadbad ho gaya, how we buy another computer and then we transfer the software in it, na? Just think it like this. हमारा जो software है ना, वो दूसरे life में चला जाता है. खाली hardware खराब हो जाता है. You know? Yes. But the electricity is the Atman. Okay. Without electricity, no matter how sophisticated your computer is, it's not going to work without electricity. In this example, the Atman is electricity. Yes, sorry, Upenji, what was your question?
Yeah, Sorry, I will interrupt.
No, it's okay. It's totally fine. Yeah.
So even in Jivatma,
Hmm.
I mean, because the electricity is the same, I don't think there is a birth even to the Jivatma. Because there
Jivatma.
is no beginning of time and there is no beginning of birth. There is no such thing as something started.
See, when that it comes to that, like somebody saying that whether we call it Jivatma or Sansar or something, hey, when was the Sansar there, right? Somebody can ask. So they also say this, it's beginningless only. Why beginningless? It can become your own Sansar. You can end it and merge with Brahman. So end ho sakta hai. The reason they say that logically, it's like a dancer and its dance. The dance is within the dancer. So when was it began? As long as the dancer is there, it's there. So as long as Brahman is there, Sansar will be there too. It's like another good example is the fire has heat and light, right? Wherever there is fire, there will be heat and light. Everybody agrees to that. Wherever there is Brahman, the Shakti of Brahman is with it. It can manifest or it can be dormant, but the Shakti is always there. So when you are saying Jivatma, Upenji, never dies or never born, what it is that it takes the another birth to come to this sansar. We call it a birth. That's all it is. Because Jivatma, when it quits the body, it is still there somewhere in some loka. We don't know where, but it's there. Yes, you're right. So from that perspective, you can say.
Because that's the beauty of this whole Gita is it mathematically comes so close to the concept of negative infinity and positive infinity is the fact. I mean, we always assume by just by the logical thinking, things always started somewhere. And if you look at our scriptures, there is no beginning.
Yeah, it's like endless, beginningless, like that. You're right. Yes. It's just a circular thing. It's like, and so that's why nobody can say. It's the same in English. They say, no, did the chicken come first or the egg came first? Nobody knows. And you can break your head against the wall, you won't know the answer. So it's like, when did the kind of sansar begin? It's beginningless. Just leave it at that. Yeah.
The Jivatma was Atma and the Vasanas, right? And we call it, isn't it like the transmigration of the soul?
Yes, transmigration. We were talking about it. It's hardware and software.
You're just getting a new
body
to take care of all the Vasanas and then
exactly.
So the Atma is unchanged, but the package is born, so to speak.
Yeah, package wants another body because they have unfulfilled desires. The moment we finish all the desires, we don't need to come back. Then you come back if you want to. Sometimes say, hey, let me go see what's going on the earth. Then you may want to, but then you come as an avatar then. You're not going to be all upset and all like we are,
Yeah.
So, Okay. So we can, Poonam, you want to go for the... Haan, pucho.
So when that Atma goes into a new body, take a birth.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think I have asked that before or not. So that carries all the previous life things.
Okay, so this is what it is. The subtle impressions are always there from the previous life. That's why when we are born, we have likes and dislikes, don't we? Mm-hmm. And some people, they are suddenly scared of things and they don't know why. Like I have a claustrophobia kind of thing, If I'm in a completely enclosed place, I get very uncomfortable. I love open. The moment, first chance I get, I'll open the windows, open the curtain. If you come to my house, very rarely I put the curtain on. I would never put it. Some other people might. So who knows what has happened in my previous lives, right? So God has made us this way. So when we take a new birth, we have a memory loss of previous things. We don't know. But there are some saints and sages, they remember their previous lives. I heard that Buddha declared that he remembered his 100 lives. He knew. He knew even when he was a tree. If you read Buddha's life, you will. So there, but we cannot handle one life, Baba. We cannot handle two kids, one husband, and relatives and friends. We can't handle. But how are we going to handle other lives? We'll go crazy. So Bhagwan is very kind to us. But certain tendencies are there from previous life. They just sprout. So we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is there. Everything is there.
When a child born, my dad used to say that this newly born baby has the Brahma Gyan.
I think that what in one of the Puranas they say that when you are in mother's womb, the jiva knows. I don't know if you heard it. वो बहुत प्रार्थना करता है, मैं अभी कभी नहीं भूलूंगा भगवान तुमको. And I will, but then moment you're born, you come like a new toy, you see the whole world and you forget everything. See, these are all, we don't know actually, but some logical thing you can think of. And sometimes little kids, I've heard, they remember their previous lives. They will start talking about things that, like an adult, I don't know if you guys have heard, but then by the time they are 5 or 6, they forget everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes little babies, they will look up and smile. So I say, are you looking at some angels or what? So we don't know about all these things, but whatever we have learned, that at least through Bhagavad Gita, that hey, the Jivatma will quit this body and then take up another body according to what their vasanas are.
So in these words, I think they are saying that Atma is Ajar Amar.
Yes.
It cannot die and
Yes.
Yeah.
He is not killed when the body is killed. That's what they are saying. Yes.
unborn. Okay. Anybody can.
Yeah, Poonam, go ahead.
The stanza labors to deny in the self all the symptoms of mutability recognized and experienced by the body. The body is prone to different changes, and these modifications are the sources of all the sorrows in every embodiment. These 6 changes are common to all, and they may be enumerated as birth, existence, growth, decay, disease, and then death. These changes are common wounds of all pains in a mortal's life. All these are denied in the self in this stanza to prove the immutability of the self. This verse is also substantial and faithful reproduction of the words of Yama in Katho Upanishad, which they don't really have there. So yeah, I guess the body, as we know, is that jayate, vardate, and I forgot what the disease one is, and then eventually dies. So basically, it's over time the changes that are happening to the body are very apparent to us, and they are trying to say that all those changes are not in the self, and that's why it is, because it stands the test of time, it is something that is not subject to any change. So
Right.
any change that happens is, I guess, in the realm of the Atma, but not touching the Atma at all.
It's happening. Atma ko to kuch nahi hota hai. Atma is just
Yeah.
there. It's like sun. The best example is sunlight. We cannot function in dark, correct? If suppose it's a complete darkness, we will not be able to function at all because we'll get disoriented. We won't know. So the sun comes out and then we become active and we start doing things. So without the sun, we cannot do anything, but the sun is not participating in our actions. You see what I'm saying? But sun is necessary for us to function. That's Atma's role, consciousness's role.
Right.
It's there powering everything, and without that, we cannot do anything, but it does not get contaminated by anything, does not participate in anything. Another very good example is gas in the car. These examples are not perfect, but it gives a very good indication.
Yeah.
So gas in the car is, without the gas in the car, we cannot drive. But the gas is not responsible how we drive.
Right.
If we crash, you cannot blame the gas. It's the driver who made the mistake. Or if it does not go to the destination it's wanting to go, you cannot blame the gas. So that is the role of Atma. I'm talking about the consciousness, not Jivatma.
Yeah. Unlike the physical body, the self is not born. it being the eternal factor that exists at all times. Waves are born and they die away, but the ocean is not born with the waves, nor does it die away when the wave disappears. Since there is no birth, there is no death. Things that have a beginning alone can end. The rising waves alone can mourn the dying conditions. Again, this is explained that, like the birth of a child who was not existing before and who has come to exist after the birth, the Atman is not something that has come to be born due to or because of the body. Thus, the self is unborn, eternal, birthless, and deathless. Ajaha,
Ajaha and
Ajaya.
Nitya.
Ajaha and Nitya. Um, so again, same thing, just trying to tell us that in this example, the ocean is the Atma because nothing is happening to it. The waves are being born in it and then they go away, but nothing happens with the ocean as such. And
Yeah,
so the time cannot change anything.
right.
And by the term unchangeable, Sasvata,
Maybe
all-
somebody else can read.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Because there are so many different people. Yeah. So anyway, that's everybody understood so far about and that I wanted to just say that the example of the wave and the ocean is a very, very good one because it's like, especially the one that waves come out and they merge back into it. Same way that consciousness is from where everything comes out and then it merges back in. So that Shakti of it, they call it, or Prakriti, it becomes one with it. Like you have seen that Ardhanarishwar roop of Shiva, right? That's what it signifies. Together, they are Shiv and Shakti. So it's Prakriti and consciousness together. But then it gets separated, the Prakriti. And then for a while it stays separate, it does its dance and whatever. All these cosmos comes out, and then there is annihilation again. It merges back into it, then again it comes out like that. You have to think. Okay. Okay, who would like to read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Okay, go Manisha.
By the term unchangeable, swasthata,
Shashwata. No, it's Shashwataha.
oh, Shashwata. By the term unchangeable, Shashwata, all other modifications such as existence, growth, decay, and disease are denied in the self. When the body is slain, the self is not slain. Just as when a wave is destroyed, the ocean is not destroyed. When a pot is broken, the mud is not broken. The verse insists self cannot be killed. This is an assertion which amounts to a repetition since it has already been said that it is deathless. Shankara therefore interprets the idea in it is not slain as it has no transformation. The self is not subject to any transformation or transmigration. Having thus started the proposition that the self is neither an agent nor an object of the action of slaying, and having established the arguments of immutability of the self, Lord Krishna here concludes the proposition that goes into the next one.
Yeah. So you can explain that paragraph or before, that Shashwataha, unchangeable.
So I do understand the term unchangeable, that it does not get affected by the self, but the body will decay, body will get disease, but the self, and that also self, like when without any likes and dislikes, without desires.
See, when you say desire, likes and dislikes, all that is in the body, mind, body means senses. It is in this. It will come. It will come in a chapter 3. all the details of it, that where do your likes and dislikes reside.
Yes.
Yeah, the self does not have all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is beyond my
Yeah.
understanding.
And
This
then-
rest, you have already explained about the waves.
Yes.
Waves can be destroyed, but not the ocean.
Ocean. Yes.
The pot can be broken, but the mud still, the origin, the mud remains,
Yeah. And the gold ornaments also very
Yes.
good example. The gold, nothing happens to the gold. Gold
Yes.
ornament, the shape can go away, the jewelry, but it doesn't disappear. The gold doesn't disappear. And then the other thing I wanted to tell is that here he does say that he is not killed when the body is killed. To me, he's talking to Arjuna. Arjuna understands a language of the soldier. So he's using this a lot, about killing and this and that, because he was very worried, no, that I'm going to kill people and I'm going to be, मेरे को पाप लगेगा, ये है वो है. So उसके लिए भी he's telling कि don't worry, you do your duty, because at the highest level nobody's getting killed anyway. So you don't need to worry about it. So, but here he's introducing this idea to us that we are mixture of changing and unchanging, and the changing part is the one that brings all the sorrow in our life. Whenever there is a change, there is a sorrow. But if you realize that it is temporary, all these things, and they are always going to change in the world, but you are not that. You have only taken birth to experience few things. And then sometimes we used to have that discussion. Then why did this Bhagwan made this world anyway with this full of, because this is just one answer. You may or may not agree, but just I thought this is kind of interesting. If you are happy all the time, you lose the value of it. When something goes the other way, then you say, today I'm feeling so happy because no problem is there. Or think about it this way. When do we enjoy the food the most?
When we are hungry.
Yes. If sometime I'm sure all of us have gone on cruises and all that. I tell you, they give you so much food. After about 2-3 days, you get sick of looking at it. You never feel hungry because you keep overeating over there. So that's what it is. That when Bhagwan made this world exactly opposite of what the Atman is. Atma is eternal. This is all constantly changing. Atma is completely bliss. Here, dukh ज़्यादा है. थोड़ा सा सुख मिलता है, फिर वो दुख में convert हो जाता है. Whatever. So it's like whatever is opposite of it, just to, after you experience all this, when you go back to the Atman, you'll feel so happy. Totally blissful. So anyway.
So it is like when a baby born, so Atma is the same, but body is growing.
Yeah, Atma is same in all of us.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is, we are talking about a baby. You can talk about an ant or a machhar or something. Uski bhi Atma, wo sab ek hi hai. Because Atma is one. It's very hard for us to understand that. But Bhagwan is going to tell us. It's like a space. Space, can I cut space? Think about it and tell me the answer. Even though it looks like, okay, this space is mine. We get very proud of it. My house, I paid for it, blah, blah. But you cannot cut the space. When the 4 walls are gone, the space is the same. It feels like as though it is different, but it's not. Same way, Atma is one. So that's why it is the same in everyone. It's all pervading, so it has to be just one entity. But Jivatma of course, are different. And our body to 100% different. That's what it is, yeah. Okay. Any other question or anything before we go to the next verse?
Anyone else wants to check?
Anybody wants to try? This is the regular tune has come back now. What is the regular tune? I'm also getting confused with it because the other.
Which one is that? Veda
Vinashina Nityam. No, not itna gaga ki nahi. वो थोड़ा no.
Yeah, no. Okay, Monica, how does it go?
Veda Vinashina Nityam Ya enam
Ya
cha.
enam ajam avayam.
It's
Katham sa purusha partha. Kam gatyati hanti kam.
okay, I'll do it one time and then whoever wants to do it. Veda vinashinam nityam wait enam ajavyayam katham sa purusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. Who wants to do it? Monica can do it if nobody else.
वेदा विनाशिनं नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययं कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घायति हन्तिकम्.
Yeah, ghatayati. Okay.
Ved knows avinashinam, indestructible, nityam, eternal, yahu, enam, this, self, ajay, unborn, avyayam, inexhaustible, katham, how, saha, he, purushah, man, partha, O partha, son of Prithu, kam, whom, ghatayati, caused to be slain, hanti, kills, kam, whom, whosoever knows him to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible, how can the man slay, O Partha, or cause other to be slain? So like Krishna is saying कि जब वो आत्मा ही अजर अमर है तो तुम उसको slay करने में डर क्यों रहे हो? Like go and do your duty.
उसको मार ही कैसे सकते हो? वो प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं अभी because he has given all the logic so far. 5-6 verses he had told everything about Atma. He told about reincarnation and everything, and now he's telling that जो जानता है कि वो आत्मा अजर अमर वो सब है, तो how can anybody slay or cause others to be slain? Because he's telling Arjuna, get up and fight. He's saying, I'm not even telling you to slay anybody because you cannot slay anybody. That's what he's saying. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Upenji, would you like to read the next paragraph?
Yes. Summarizing what is said so far, as the law of being, dharma, of the self, which indicated rather than defined the eternal, immutable reality, in this stanza we have in the form of an interrogation, an assertion that those who know this shall have thereafter no dejection or sorrow in facing realities. Should I read both the paras or should I just...
If you think that you'll be better off reading and then explaining, then that's fine. Go ahead, read that.
Okay. Having known the self to be indestructible. What's happening?
It's okay.
Eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible. Krishna asks Arjuna, how can one arrogate to oneself the stupid idea of the agency? The Lord says that neither such an individual cause someone to slay, nor himself be a slayer. In the context of the given situation, Krishna advises thus. It is interesting to note that he means both himself and Arjuna by his words. In this, knowledge of the reality has come to the intellectual appreciation and acceptance of Arjuna. He will have no more justification to consider himself to be the killer of the unborn. If he cannot be the killer, Krishna means, how am I the one who prompts you to slay your relations? So, between the last two verses, he's clarifying fundamentally that the Atman cannot be created or destroyed. Mm-hmm. You can be moving from one life to another, but your absolute identity is indestructible. Mm-hmm. And inexhaustible, because it's going to go on forever. Like it's been there forever and it's been there. So, this, as he's saying, that now it is more like he's going towards from an interrogation and questions and logic, more into assertions that these are the realities. Now I'm just talking to you about what the reality is. And if this is the reality, then the logic that you have been using so far, that, oh, you're asking me to kill. or I will slay someone, all those arguments automatically become illogical, because none of them are valid once you realize that whether it is you or me, like he says, like whether it is Krishna or Arjuna, everything here is indestructible.
Yep, I think you explained it very well, and that's what it is. And there are few words that I will. The first paragraph is saying, summarizing, yes, said so far as the law of being, dharma of the self. Remember when we said what is the dharma of something? It is that inherent quality, though is not even the right word, but sometimes in Atma there are no qualities, but just to explain we are saying it, that's all. That, hey, what are the characteristic more than quality, I think I should use the word. What are the characteristics of the Atman? That is the law of being of the Atman. Is that Sat Chit Anand. It's Sat means all three periods of time it's there. Chit is conscious and Anand is bliss. And then it says, which indicated rather than defined the eternal, because nobody can ever define eternal. You have to become eternal. Then you will know what is eternal, but we can't define it. It's undefinable. That's why we say. But then they call it indicative definitions. That just few tips you give, and then kind of, you get some idea of what the Atman is. Like you have heard the English saying, to define the truth is to defile the truth. Something like that they have, So that's what it is. So that's why they use these kind of words. And then whatever Upenji said, that's what it is. That if you accept this, what Krishna Bhagavan is saying about the Atman, then and you will not have this stupid idea of agency. Agency means in Vedanta, when you say you have agency for something, it's not like a auto insurance agency type of thing, but it is more like you think you are the doer. That you are doing it. No, you're not doing anything. So the best thing is whatever your duties are and whatever your swadharma is, if you do that, you're not going to incur any sin. You're not going to do any of that. It's like they say, that if you try to hurt a snake, it'll bite you. So if the snake bites you, is he going to get sin? No, you were trying to bother the poor snake. That's why he bit you. And then you can even die from it, but it's not the snake's fault. So.
But I think this is the most difficult, because we are in Sansarik Jivan, where we have to do the duties, but can't say that, body is going to die, to separate the self from our daily life, It's the hardest.
So this is what it is, that he told Arjuna the highest. Obviously, it's very hard to accept or to live as Atman and all that. So he's going to come down now. And you will see in chapter 2 itself. He will say, okay, if you don't understand this, then at least know that people are born and die. बाद में क्या होता है शुरू में, क्या होता है बाद में, we don't know. Itna bhi if you accept, then also you should not hesitate to fight, because you know that they are dying and they are born. That's what the sansar mein chalta rehta hai. That was second thing he will say. Then he will say, okay, forget it. If you don't even believe that yet, abhi time lagega tumko samajhne mein, magar at least dharma point of view. What is your duty point of view? We discussed that. Even if people who don't believe in God and all that, but they do their duties, don't they? A judge does his duty, doctor does his duty, soldier does his duty, whether they believe in God or not. So duty perspective. And वो भी नहीं तुझे समझ में आ रहा है, समझो. Then at least you care about your friends and your family and your people. They're going to laugh at you that you're a soldier and you ran away from the battlefield. So then they will say bad things about you and you won't be able to, तुम सहन नहीं पाओगे. That's why you don't do. So that is true. This is the highest knowledge. It's difficult to swallow, but it's also little bit, not dangerous to nahi bolna chahiye na, little bolte na, little knowledge is a dangerous thing. You say, okay, if I am Atma, everybody's Atma, then I can go and do anything I want. That's not what they're saying. So you have to take it in the right context, because there are consequences. then you will have to take more and more and more janmas. And if you are trying to get rid of your vasanas by doing wrong things, you are building up more and more. It's like somebody was saying that you're feeling cold, and instead of putting a jacket on, you are just, taking your layers off. You're going to be miserable, So we have to take everything in the right context. But he is giving him the highest knowledge, because if you do get established in this knowledge, your life will become like beautiful. You will not be disturbed by anything. That's all he's telling him, Yeah. Any more questions on this verse? Okay, now the meter has gone back to that older one.
वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Vasansi, clothes, jeernani, worn out. Yatha, as vihaya, having cast away. Navani, new. Grandati, taken. Nava, men. Aparani, others. Tatha, so. Sharirani, bodies, vihaya, having cast away. Jeernani, worn out. Anyani, others. Sanyati, enters. Navani, new. Dehi, the embodied. Just as a man casts off his worn clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self casts off its worn out bodies and enters others which are new. Because we were talking about that the body dies, but Atma enters into a new body. It never dies.
Yeah, so the Jivatma is the embodied self, means Jivatma. And then and the example is absolutely fantastic example. That, just like this body is like our clothes. And then there is that bhajan, no? Maili chadar od ke, something, right? Well, that chadar is this body, actually. So that's what it is, yeah.
आपने जीवात्मा का क्या बताया था?
Embodied self is the Jivatma. That word embodied self over there, yeah. Okay, Renuji, would you like to read? This is the one oft-quoted famous stanza.
So,
that verse 22?
Yeah, just as a man casts off his worn-out clothes and puts on new ones, so does the embodied self casts off its worn-out bodies and enters others which are new. This is one of the oft-quoted famous stanzas in the Gita, which in a very striking example explains to us how the egocentric entity in an individual readily leaves its associations with one set of equipments and arrogates to itself another conducive envelopment for living as a new set of its required experiences. The example that Vyasa uses is so universal that in the Lord's own mouth they ring with a note of irresistible appeal.
Yeah, you can stop there because there is a lot in this paragraph.
Yeah, so this is like I guess it's one of the famous lines that people can identify with it because it's very visual. It's like how you change your clothes every day and put on a new set. You don't get attached to. So similarly, like in a life, in many lifetimes, you change many bodies.
Yeah, and I think that here they use did they use like a torn clothes? Yeah, Jirnani. That's a very important one. That when we have a torn clothes, then I don't want this anymore. So it's like even the car, if you have some car which has become really khatara, you will be very happily give it up to get a new one. How baby's skin is so soft and nice, it's like, so that's what it is. That it just, so we don't. Now think about it. Even while changing clothes, who will cry? changing clothes. The people who are attached like children. Oh, I don't want to take this shirt out, I don't want, then they might. Otherwise, if you're not attached, you won't care because you're going to get another one. Yeah, so that's what it is. Okay, Devyan, you want to go next?
Sure, ma'am. I do have a question.
Yes.
I mean, in our scriptures, they talk about 84 lakh yoniya, right? So, as per Geeta, do they think that after human life we get another human life, or they say that you could be? I remember from one of the classes you did say that we can take birth as an ant or as a worm or as something, right? So, what is the foundation of Geeta?
So this is what it is. Yes, there are different yonis, but we are going on an ascending path. So firstly, if you are born as a human being, it's a huge advantage because the animal is a programmed life. They are totally like instinctive. They are, a lion will always eat meat and a cow will always eat grass. You can't change it, but a human can go either way. So when you are born as a human, then you've been given a fantastic chance. Now, if you don't want to mess it up, you at least don't do such horrible acts that you will go down. And if you do all the wrong things, it's something like this. Suppose I give one of my instruments to someone to borrow, and they use it and then they give it back to me all broken and all that. Will I ever give it back to them then? I won't. So if we make misuse of our body, human body, we won't be given very easily another chance. Then we have to go back in the animal. So, but the human birth is why it is so important, because here you have a chance to completely get out of this cycle. Even the Swargalokas don't have that chance. Swargaloka is just a place for vacation, according to Vedanta. Some people can have other belief. So it's like, okay, I have accumulated lot of punya karmas. I did lot of good karma, so I was given a place in heaven. It's a long life, and you don't have all these disease and other kind of problems that I have on the earth with the bodily afflictions that I have. There you don't, because you are in the subtle body enjoying everything. But then when the punyas or when the merit gets finished, like a bank balance is gone, then I got to come back on the earth again. So that is just a temporary thing. But if I get moksha, if I get liberation, if I merge with that Brahman, I don't have to come back, and all my previous karmas get burnt. Because it's something like, how does it get burned? Our teacher had a very fantastic example. She said that, like we have our previous life karmas are there, packages are there. I have to exhaust this vasanas. One bundle is kind of fruitified and I get this life. And I have many other packages that might come to me in other lives. But suppose that Jivatma thing only I finish completely. The house is not there. Where will the packet be delivered? Nowhere. It's gone back to its nature. In other words, in a human life, we have a chance to burn all our karmas. That's why it is so important. But
it's so hard to know if you are on the positive side or the negative side. What if you are more on the positive side?
Okay, very good question. Arjuna had the same question in chapter 6. Krishna Bhagwan, you are telling me to go on a spiritual path, and believe me, I already know going on a spiritual path is not easy, because you are going against the grain of the regular people. So it's like difficult, and a lot of pains are there. Udhar se bhi main gaya, I did not get that. And now you're telling me, I kick the bucket, I die. So what is going to happen to me? Everything, am I going to be just destroyed like a cloud, gets dissipated? What will happen to me? So Krishna Bhagwan said that don't worry. All the good karmas that you have done, all the effort that you have done to go, it will 100% not go waste. When you are born in the next life, you will start from where you are left off. The regular education, you got to start with kindergarten. But your spiritual progress, nothing will happen to it. You will pick it up from there. That's why some people are spiritual. They very quickly connect to it. Others, it takes a long time. And then he gives certain examples that either you will be born in a family which will be yogi family, and they immediately you will get connected. That family is already doing all the sadhanas and you will immediately connect. Or you will be born in a very rich family where you don't have to worry about tomorrow where I'm going to get my food on the table. And you will be able to kind of go towards a spiritual life. Means all your other basic necessities will take care of, and then you can pursue your spiritual life. So any spiritual efforts never goes wasted. So whatever you are attending this class, trying to study Gita, this, that, is going in your books. Don't worry.
Positive side.
Yes, and somewhere Swamiji is going to say that the fact that you are reading this Gita, rest assured you are a good person. So don't be afraid that I'm going to be born as an ant or anything. No, you're not going to be. You're going to be a better situation in human being. That's what. So all the question that comes to us, Arjuna has the same questions. Yep.
Thank you for explaining that.
Okay, so where were we now? I lost my track.
Changing our clothes, is that?
I think you were going to read, right, Devyani?
Yeah.
I think you're the striking example.
The striking example which comes within the comprehension of everyone is made use of by Lord, so that not only Arjuna but even those who are overhearing these 18 discourses, even at this distant time, may come to understand the idea clearly. So, what we just spoke about. So, changing of our clothes that have become worn out cannot be a pain to
You don't have that
anyone
other
of us.
one? Other paragraph is not there in yours? Just as an individual changes his clothes, that paragraph is not there?
Sorry. Yes, that's there. Okay, sorry, I thought we had read that. Okay, I'll read that. Just as an individual changes his clothes to suit the convenience of the occasion, so too the ego center discards one physical form and takes on another, which will be most suited for it to gain the next required type of experiences. No one will plan to go to his office wearing his nightgown, nor will he in his stiff collar feel happy while playing tennis in the evening. He changes his dress according to the field where he is intending to work for the time being. Similar is the why and whereof death and thereafter.
Yeah. So, what did you understand from this paragraph? What is he trying to say?
Just as as we change clothes, as we go through different birth cycles, our ego also discards. I guess its entity and takes on another Jivatma altogether.
Wait. The Jivatma remains the same. It's changing the clothes only. That means body is different, but the mind, intellect, Vasana package, the Jivatma is the same.
Ma'am, between two bodies, my understanding, what I thought was that Jivatma is a fusion of a body and a soul. So, if I am in this body, this is Jivatma Devyani or whatever, right? But if I take another body, am I still the same Jivatma?
Yes. Okay. So I think there maybe you have a slight confusion. It is 3-tier thing. One is a physical body, like a shell, like a clothes in this thing, right? Other one, they call it embodied self. Embodied self equal to Jivatma. What is Jivatma? Mind, intellect, and vasanas. That package, a software. Software is, so that Devyani software is not going to change. It only will change what up to the point that you have discarded your body. Whatever your mind, intellect at that point is, you're going to take that and then take birth in the next life. Then you will try to change your mind over there. If you have some problems with your, I have an ego problem, or I have a anger, I have a frustration, then you will change your mind. And that's why the karmas also go with you. Otherwise, somebody can kill someone and then they are also died. So then does it finish? No.
I thought that once you change a body, it's the only thing that remains is Atma. So
No,
I
no,
think
no, no. The
when that
Atma,
was
Atma
changed,
ko to nothing, at the third tier,
nothing happens, right?
nothing happens. That is
No,
the
no.
power behind everything. So the Jivatma also cannot be without a Atma, Atma meaning consciousness. Why don't we call that Atma consciousness? Because then we won't get confused. So there is consciousness, there is embodied self, which is a Jivatma, and then there is body. Body is the grossest thing, made of 5 elements.
Yes.
So they have to go back to the 5 elements. When a person dies, whether you bury the person or whether you burn it, all the 5 elements are gone back to the 5 elements. Water content go to water, earth goes to earth, space go to nothing happens is the same, right? So I think that's where your confusion is. So when I'm born in another body, my software is still the same. That's why whatever I have studied, whatever Gita you are studying, that impression is going to stay with you when you go in the next life. It's not going to get wasted. That's why some people, have you seen some of those kids? They are 4 or 5 years old and they start memorizing Gita like this and they can chant better than us. You know, because they have done it in their previous life.
Okay. So they're taking from like the Jivatma has a balance and that goes to
Yes.
another life.
Yeah.
It's the same Jivatma.
Same
that's,
Jivatma, which
migrating.
yes, and then it acquires more experiences. So then things get more attached to it. But what Krishna Bhagwan is trying to say, that vasanas they are our desires, innate desire. That's why we are taking birth. If you don't want to take birth, then you finish off everything. Account closed. Our account is open when we die. Okay? That's why they say in this world, you should not love or hate somebody too much. Because why not love too much, Baba? Hey, because again you want to be with them. वो तेरा 7 जन्मों का साथ. If you don't want it, doesn't mean that you ignore them. That's not what it means. From like attached. Too much attachment also is not so good.
Okay. So, ma'am, when Swamiji is saying so too, the ego center discards one physical form and takes on another, which will be most suited for it to gain the next
Yes.
required type of experience. But how can Jivatma decide that I will take this, I will keep this, and I will discard this?
No,
Right?
it doesn't. This is what it is. I know you are asking very interesting question. It's like, how would I know? They believe that right now we have a complete क्या बोलना चाहिए, amnesia about the previous lives. But when we quit our body, all those memories come back. Okay? And then you will be, hey, have you heard of this statement that people choose their parents? Anybody heard that? That you choose your parents? And then your closest relationships are the ones that you have a karmic bandhan, that you have been there together in some form and you're trying to pay them back. So when you are in between the two lives, you with the other higher souls, almost like have a meeting. Okay, now this next life I need to learn these lessons. So I need this kind of body, this kind of parents, and I'm gonna learn. But this is our problem. Like some kids, they go to college, but they forget what they are there for, and they start doing extracurricular activity, and they don't graduate. वही हमारा हाल है. We come here for certain things, but we forget, and then we go and do some other khatar patar idhar udhar. Then again, I got to go back to college. Hey, your parents will say, go back and get your degree. So Bhagwan is saying, go back, get your degree. That's what is
Got
happening.
it, ma'am. I mean, I think this paragraph is more like, it's from the Jivatma standpoint that as it's going from one body
Yes.
to another, it is like, it knows everything, and B, it knows what, like he's giving an example of what clothes to wear.
Yes,
right? To what
you got
event
it.
or occasion. So,
Yes.
yeah.
and what experience to gain. So whatever we got, we have to be thankful because we have chosen this. And sometimes somebody will say, why would somebody choose like some retardation happens to people and all that? That maybe they're trying to learn some lesson in that. We don't know, why it is. But a particular clothes that we choose, because we are wanting that kind of experience to learn something,
So, and I'll just add to this one.
Yes.
It's a very interesting conversation, but that the complete disability that you talk about, I mean, groups of people take birth together, like you said, based on what the masters tell you that, okay, these are the things that you need to work on. So when someone takes that birth, it is not just for that person
Correct.
and the learning, but also the people who are born around that soul.
True.
So some people as parents are going to go through some suffering and pain, some will go
Yes.
as siblings, some
Yes.
as something else. But it's like a group learning in which a lot of souls together have a very complex way in which everyone's going to be learning something in the
Yes.
process.
100% agree with you. There is a very famous book called Many Masters, Many Lives. Anybody heard of that or read it?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend you to read that because it has a lot of revelation about different lives and how your karmic bonds, you have to pay back, so you're born in the same groups and it continues and all that. So that's why the best thing is that even if somebody has done something bad to you, you don't react because because you're cutting the karmas then. But if you start doing tit for tat, then again you also build another karma.
I go back to book just to get clarification for myself on reincarnation,
Yes, reincarnation clarification is there, what happens in between the lives, and this is not by a person who was Hindu or by anything. It's very interesting. That was a psychiatrist who was working on his patient, and then the patient started going back in the previous lives. They were doing, what is that called?
I'm forgetting his name.
That word you use.
Hypnosis and past life regression.
No, but yeah, past life regression.
Hypnosis.
Hypnosis. He was trying to do the hypnosis so that the person goes in the childhood. Instead of going in the childhood, the person started going back in the previous lives. Anyway, very interesting book. So I think Brian Weiss, that's the name of the author, Brian Weiss. So whoever is interested should read that. Okay, I think that, what is the time? It's already like 2 minutes are left. Yeah, so we can stop here because this one is a lot of information is there in this one. But it's very interesting that how we take birth and how we decide on our bodies are according to what we want to experience. Very interesting. Yeah.
Amazing. This is the first time this is being revealed to me. So this is very, very interesting that we basically are choosing
Yes.
how our next lives are going to be. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. And of course, when we are born, we feel totally helpless and all because we are forgotten. Right? So and there is a reason also because otherwise we will not. I don't know what the reason is. Reason maybe it's like a video game, make it more complicated then it's more fun. सब कुछ पहले से बता दिया then how will you do? I don't know the answer. But these are some of the facts that come out of here. Yes. Okay, so we can close here, and if you have any questions, you can bring it next time. And I'll just put a mark there. We stop there. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.